and welcome back to Just Wing It. Hey, we are back with the new Horizon Hobby E-flite Cherokee 1.3m model. This is a very, very nice and really, quite frankly, a surprise. Kind of a shock really to see company release a beautiful model of a very early PA-28 Cherokee. Seldom done in the built-up world, and I don't think it's really ever been done in the foam world besides the Park Zone Cherokee Archer 2. But hey, this is an early model Cherokee, and by that we really want to say it has a Hershey bar wing, and that's one of the most pronounced features that distinguish this plane. Hershey bar meaning it's got a very wide wing chord in relation to the actual wing span. So we're going to do an assembly and general overview of this fine model. First, real quick, some admin notes or administrative notes. I've laid out the tools that I think I'm going to need. A lot of screwdrivers and so forth. I want to relate to you a story real quick. There was a fellow RC pilot who I got to know through RC groups about 5 years ago now? Pretty crazy. Anyways, we share similar interests in aircraft and so forth and so on. Gentleman lives in Georgia. I happen to live in California. Well, about 4 years ago, I went to the Southeast Electric Flight Festival in Americus, Georgia, and actually met my friend. So we met. We hung out for a day. It was awesome. Great guy. It's like we're brothers separated at birth. I mean, really, as far as the aircraft we both like, our demeanor and all that, it's really, really neat. Anyway, he was watching the mall video recently and saw me kind of struggling with some of the hex screws. So he actually went out and got me a set of beautiful hex drivers. And when I was in Americus, Georgia for the last CEF, which was back in April, just a few months ago, he brought them out there. So he took a 2-hour drive he was near Atlanta, drove down there, gave them to me. I thought, wow, that's really cool. Now I got, some really high-speed drivers. And as you can see, they're not here because I left them in Vegas because I'm an idiot. Anyways, they're in Vegas. I'm here in, my secret test facility deep in the Mojave Desert. And yeah, so hey brother, thank you for trying, but hey, it also takes me to remember to bring them. I hope I don't need them. I don't think I do, because I think this plane is mostly screws. That's what I'm hoping. Those, by the way, I think right there, these right here, I think are the straps for the landing gear and the wings, which I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, because that's where the landing gear goes. In any event, hey, we're going to do this in a fashion that I had developed, in a way that I developed during the mall assembly and general overview video. That is to say, I'm going to look into the owner's manual, which is right here. I'm going to look into the owner's manual, and we're going to assemble this thing as the owner's manual states, bit by bit, part by part. As you can clearly see, there just aren't that many parts. There's a couple of wings. There's the flying stab. What else? Oh, we have the mains, and then the prop and the collet. Let's not forget the wing spar. Now, we're going to assemble each step off camera, and then we'll come back on, and then we're going to talk about, how difficult it was or how not difficult it was, and my general observations throughout the assembly. Now, I have not opened this manual at all. I haven't. I really haven't. So, this is what I think is going to happen. And we're going to see how wrong or how right I am. I think this thing's going to say that I put the mains on the wings first. I think that I then put the wings on the fuse. Basically, we're going to get her up on her feet. I think I'm then going to install, well, let's not forget the spar. The spar goes in, the wings go on. There's 2 screws in either wing. I then put the full flying stab on. There's 2 screws for that. That goes in. And then I think I bind it up. And then once she's bound up, I then put the spinny thingy on that's 12 inches worth of composite plastic that could really do a lot of damage. So I'm thinking that's going to go on last. And me personally, I'm going to put that on after I've already bound the aircraft. Because I don't want this thing on there for whatever reason to go a little haywire and start spinning when I'm not ready for it. Does that make sense? Safety, safety, safety. So hey, I think, you know, most of the longtime subscribers and, you know, even the newer subscribers are going to realize, hey, we're all about safety here, and also about spreading the joy of this RC hobby. Because I'm telling you, that's what it's all about. Gotta have a wildcat in the video. Gotta have a wildcat. All right, let's see how wrong I am, or right I am. I don't know. Gonna crack this thing open for the first time. See what we got. Okay, it's typical. We have measurements. We have there's my fan going. Okay, what do we got? Oh, okay. I was in the neighborhood, but not in the exact order. Horizon Hobby wants me to put the wings on first and then put the gear on. Okay, cool. I'll do that. I'll assemble it the way they want me to, showing how the screws go in. Of course, this also shows, interestingly enough, the nose gear going in, but it's already in. So, okay. But okay, so Horizon shows us doing the wings. Okay, so I had that a little bass backwards, as they say. Here's those straps that I knew were going to be for the landing gear. Those little plastic straps are going to be for the landing gear. Let's see what happens here. Okay, yep, there goes the full flying stab. Looks like that part gets removed. The stab goes in. Okay, great. Last but not least, there we are with the propeller. Now, again, as I thought and mentioned in the unboxing video, the spinner's going to come off first. We're then going to put the propeller on. We're going to bolt that propeller on, and then we're going to put the spinner on. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. But since I want to espouse and always teach safety, we're going to do it after the model's bound. Okay? So, and yes, I've got the help of a fan today. Well, I had one yesterday as well, or the day before, because it is a very cool and brisk 107 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So, yes, so I need this fan right here, or the plane will melt. Okay. It's a cool, you're not going to believe this, it's a cool like 85 degrees inside here, so in any event, but the fan's really, really helpful. So okay, so that's why you see these pages turning. Alright, so cool. So hey, we're going to do step 1. We're going to put the wings on the model, and actually we're going to modify it. I've done that before. You all saw that during the mall video. I'm actually probably going to put what I'll probably do is put the wings on and then the gear. And the next phase of this assembly that you're going to see of the model will be she's going to be standing on all of her feet, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, without further ado, go ahead, sit down, get comfortable. Go ahead and get yourself a drink of whatever your favorite beverage is. Some popcorn, some potato chips, some tortilla chips, and salsa, whatever the case may be. And we're going to get busy on assembling the Piper Cherokee 1.3m from Horizon Hobby. And we're back with the assembly. of the new E-flite Cherokee 1.3m. There you go. Okay. She's got her wings. She's got her gear. And we're starting to look like a Piper. Now, granted, I left her inverted. Because I want to show you some things first before I go any further. Okay. So far, these are the two tools I have used thus far. 2 screwdrivers. That's it. Okay. The wings are held together. There's 2 of these 3 by 8s. These are 3mm by 8mm Phillips head. I guess I can't see that. Phillips head screws. There's 2 in each wing. Okay, and they go in right here. Okay, so there you go. You can see them lurking in there. Now, since I am retentive, I have to make sure they both form little X's. In fact, all of my 4 screws all form little X's in relation to the wing root or the wing joiner there at the fuse. Okay, so I found that they went in pretty easily. The wings just slid right on. I have the spar in there. They went right into the quick connectors, and I just started screwing them in. I noticed that they kind of went for a long time. I'm going, man, I'm starting to get nervous, thinking, oh my gosh, is this thing biting? Is it biting? Is it stripping? What's it doing? And then next thing you know, rather abruptly, they tighten right up. So gang, I'm telling you, just snug them up. There's no reason to go any tighter than snug. If you do that, you do run the risk of either stripping out the head of the screw or maybe even damaging the plastic parts, that what have you. So, all right, so 3 by 8s for the wings. By the way, there's also these 2 remaining 3 by 8s are what's going to go into the full flying stab. The 3 by 8s are all for the stab. These that hold the landing gear in are 2 by 16. These are 2 by 16. Now, it's interesting to note that there's this plastic retainer goes. The gear went in very easily. Bloop, slid right in. I put this retainer here, this little strap, if you will. It has a little component that goes over the metal part. And you screw in these 2mm by 16mm screws. They went in easily enough as well. I don't know what this little hole's for. There's an extra hole, okay? Doesn't seem to make sense to me, but there it is, okay? Remember that your screws will go in, the 2 screws that are at the front part of that, okay? And as you can see, the gear went on very easily, and it rolls very easily, okay? Nose gear is already on, even though the owner's manual shows that you'll have to do that. You don't. It's already part of the model. Okay, so we're going to do this on camera here, or we're going to try, I guess. Well, maybe not, because I can't just get that pillow off. So in any event, hey, tell you what, off camera, I'm going to go ahead and flip the model over. We're going to get her standing on her feet. And actually, correction. Because the next step is to put the full flying stab on. So tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and put the full flying stab on, and then the next time you see the plane, she'll be standing on her feet, okay, with the full flying stab. And I'm telling you, she's going to be about done. And although you can't see the elapsed time due to the magic of video, because I'm going off camera, putting her together, coming back on camera, this thing's going to go together in about 15 minutes. 15 real-time minutes, I'm telling you. It's amazing. So, that said, I'm going to go ahead and get the full flying stab on, and the next time you see the Cherokee 1.3, she's going to be standing on her feet and looking pretty. Alright, so here we go. And we're back. And we're whoa, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Why isn't this thing on its looking like, how come, wait a minute. It's supposed to be on its feet. I know. Stay with me now. I want to show you guys and gals something real quick. Okay. This is what goes on back here, because I've seen some questions in our RC group. So, okay, so this tail cone right here, it's plastic, comes off the model. Okay, this comes off the model, and it's held on by 3 of these tiny little screws. 3. I use this little screwdriver with a magnetized tip to get it off. Okay, so there's 2 screws here, 1 on either side, the 3rd back here. So, if you look, there's the mechanism. Okay, there's the mechanism. I don't know if you can see that or not. I hope it's not blurring out. But anyway, that'd make for bad video. Okay, so how do we get the full flying stab on? If you'll notice, there's this side, all plastic. You flip it over, we have a spar, and the plastic's somewhat flat back here and somewhat extended there, but there's a spar. If you look right here, you look really close, you'll see that there's a groove in the plastic where the spar goes, right there, okay? So that's your giveaway. So what you do is, you get the flying stab, you have to line it up so that it goes in at an angle. See that? It goes in at an angle, and you just drop it in. Look at that, okay? Easy peasy, right? So, cause you can't pull it out straight. Same thing, I can't just stick it in straight, right? I have to put it in an angle, let it drop. Okay? At that point, you then use these 3x8mm screws, these 2 of them, right? You screw them back in here. They go back in here, 1 and 2, and then you get the tail cone and screw it back on. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright. Hey, I wanted to make sure that I showed you all that because there were some questions I saw on the RC Group's thread. So hey, that part I definitely wanted to show you, and I hope that all made sense, and I hope that you could see that. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and go back off camera and put that full flying stab back on an elevator. And next time you see the Cherokee, for real, she'll be on her feet. Alright, we'll be right back. And we're back with the assembly and general overview video of the new E-flite Cherokee 1.3m. Okay, as you can see, she's on her feet. Okay, she's on her feet. She's looking good, looking like a Cherokee should. Like that? That's pretty cool, huh? Anyways, I know. I shouldn't attempt that. But hey, it worked. Thus far, I've used these 3 screwdrivers. That's it. In fact, I could probably get away with using these 2 screwdrivers. Okay? They're all Phillips. Or Star Point, if you will, not Star Point, but they're Phillips, what we call Phillips head screwdrivers here in the United States. Okay, and the last thing I have to do is put the propeller on. Okay, that's the last thing I have to do. But and no, I did not need these hex. And I haven't used this yet. I'm going to use this adjustable spanner. We call it a crescent wrench in the States. I'm going to use that to put the spinny thingy on up front. Once I use one of my Phillips head screwdrivers to take this spinner off, I'm going to put the prop off, or put the prop on. But I am not going to put the prop on until I have bound the model to my radio, which is a DX6. Okay? I'm not going to do that. Safety. Okay? So for all my subscribers and folks just tuning in, and I hope you subscribe, I hope you like what you see, hey, do not bind your models with the propeller on. That could be a recipe for a disaster. Ask me how I know. Yeah, ask me how I know. Hey, one of these things I like, and I'm going to use the screwdriver here, is if you need to adjust the front wheel, say it's not centered, I like the fact that all it is it's a screw right here. Same thing with the rudder. It's a screw right here. You can make all your adjustments right on the servo. I really like that. So in other words, it makes it really, really easy. If the plane's not taxiing right, hey, too easy, right? Same thing with the elevator. We're going to adjust the elevator here at the servo. Oh, I'm pointing the wrong one. Oops. Anyway, that would be the rudder. Anyway, hey, we're going to adjust the elevator here on the servo. And I believe, I haven't even looked at the owner's manual yet, but I've seen some people talking. Apparently there's some witness marks here in the fuse, or there's some sort of guide that you use to adjust that elevator. Okay? I haven't got there yet, but I will once I get the model bound, because that's when all the magic happens, as far as making sure all the flight controls are what we call mechanically centered. In other words, right now, they basically are mechanically centered. See that? So that means that the elevator and the flaps and all of that are perfectly in line at the trailing edge, and they're level essentially with the trailing edge of the wing all the way to the root. Okay? We're going to mechanically center the rudder and elevator, and we're really going to focus on that full flying elevator because it is quite unique and different, and there really isn't a reference point for the elevator to the stabilizer, to the horizontal stabilizer. The whole thing moves. So how do we ensure that the angle of incidence between the full flying stab and the wing is sufficient to allow level flight? Ooh, I don't know. It's a problem. It's a conundrum. So anyways, there you go. She's on her feet. She's starting to look really, really good. And the next time that you see the Cherokee 1.3, she will have this spinny thingy on up front, which, by the way, again, it's 12 inch by 8 pitch. It's a 12 inch diameter with an 8 pitch, which actually is a pretty aggressive pitch for this plane. Believe it or not, the pitch will dictate how fast this thing goes, and the diameter is normally the thrust. And when you have a little bit beyond 50% pitch to diameter, which this is, you know what, 60-70% pitch to diameter ratio, that means that it's going to be kind of fast, but we're going to have some thrust on when we need it. Okay? So in any event, hey, again, next time you see the model, she'll be have the propeller on, she'll be bound up, and we're going to be able to give you a demonstration of the flight controls, final thoughts, and next stop, maiden flight. So, that said, stay tuned or stand by for the next step in this, which will be showing her bound up and ready to go. And we are back with a completed E-flite Cherokee 1.3 meter. So there she is. She's all powered up. She's all gorgeous. She has her lights on. I'm telling you, this thing is an absolute beauty. I cannot wait to get this thing going. Okay, real quick, because well, I just don't want to belabor a lot of stuff, but I mean, you know, hey, anyways, it was really easy to bind the plane up to my DX6. So I'm covering the throttle. Look at that. What I did was I set her up exactly the way the manual calls out. These are the tools I used right here. That's it. There's that fan going. I'll put that screwdriver there. Okay. So these are the tools I used right here. All right. Word of note. Nowhere in the owner's manual did I see it say how you set this up with regards to how in the world do I get the incidents, which is kind of what I was afraid of. So there's a gentleman on RC groups on the Cherokee thread who pointed out, I'm going to find it, there's a line, a witness line in the foam right there. And you line this stab up on that witness line. Okay? It's called a witness line or a witness mark. Carpenters use them a lot. Okay? So there you go. So I line mine up on the witness mark, which is right there. You can actually get a better view of it right there. So I just made sure it's lined up. It's about halfway between that opening. Mine is. And we're going to see how she flies. I'll be ready on the sticks when she comes off. I lined up my rudder and nose wheel using the very, very simple, there's the ailerons. Good aileron throws, huh? Flaps are on a 2-second delay. We'll show you. The flaps being on a 2-second delay. So here we go. There's my first setting. There's my second setting. First, second. Look at those flaps. Look at how those scrapers and oh man, look at that. Look at that. That's pretty cool, if you ask me. All right, ailerons, nice. They're all adjusted, and there's that full flying rear stab. Look at that. That is so cool. And as you can see, mine's about evenly adjusted between the top and the bottom. Okay, very good. Okay, so that's how you adjust the rear elevator. Let's see if I can get this canopy off one-handed. It is a bit tricky, but I got it. Hey, okay. Hey, little victories. Okay, what I did was I put my 3200 battery basically in line with this, is where the front is. See that? So as I'm looking straight down, that's where it is. Both straps are on there. It's a Connexus. It's a Horizon product. It's a 30C 3-cell 3200. Now, the owner's manual says that the CG does not occur on this line. It occurs slightly ahead of that line. That panel line in the wing, okay? So, what I did, this panel line right here, the CG actually occurs a little bit ahead of that. In fact, the CG should occur right near those fuel filler caps. Now, these are not CG marks. Those are scale fuel filler caps. However, they make for a pretty good reference point for CG, and that's what I did. And she balances with the battery in my location. It's a 3S 3200 with the battery basically in line with this little notch for the canopy. She balances ever so slightly nose heavy. And since I'm an old Warbird guy, ever so slightly nose heavy is going to work for me for starters. I'll go from there, and we'll adjust from there. For my liking, I'm going to start slightly nose heavy. I'm cool with that, okay? Also, interestingly enough, if I have too much up elevator dialed in, hey, slightly nose heavy is going to help. If I don't have enough up elevator in, slightly nose heavy means she's not going to rotate when I think she should. I'm guessing that at half flap or takeoff flaps, I'm just a guess. I'm guessing she's going to rotate at about 60% throttle, and she should lift off with ease at around 70. Bring the flaps up, climb out through 80%, etc., etc. I'm a scale pilot, so I'm not going to just firewall this thing. Y'all have seen me fly. Come on, y'all have seen it. This plane, I'm not just going to firewall and then yank her off the ground like I would with the maul. That's not going to happen. Okay. So again, recap. She's balanced ever so slightly nose heavy. I'm using the faux fuel filler caps as my CG reference point because that's kind of where the manual shows it. Slightly ahead of this this panel line in the wing. The only adjustment I had to do was the right aileron was a little down, and I went in, and there's a screw right there, and I just loosened that screw, adjusted the right aileron so she's flush. As you can see, she's flush, and voila, we're all set and ready for a maiden, boys and girls. We are ready for a maiden. So I'm excited. Maiden may even happen tomorrow. We'll see what the weather gods have to say about that. But in any event, hey, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Another assembly and general overview video in the books. Next stop, maiden flight of the new E-flite Cherokee 1.3m. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for the maiden flight. Happy landings, everybody. Cheers. Hey, we are back with bonus footage. Oh, hey. Yeah, and that little tail light there in the back, that clear lens, that isn't lit up for whatever reason. But hey, there you go. I wanted to say that. Look at this. Huh? Look at this. Oh my gosh, look how bright those lights are. Isn't that sick? Look at that. Wow. Wow. Hey, I just wanted to show you all what she looks like all lit up. Look how bright that is. Come on, right? Come on. Look at the lights flashing against the wall there, the strobes. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. This plane is sweet. Anyways, hey, I just wanted to show you the new E-flite Cherokee 1.3, all gussied up and ready to go. So there you go. All right, hey, for reals this time, for reals. Hey, next time you see this plane will be the maiden flight. All right, and as usual, we're going to catch it from start to finish. So again, hey, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for your subscriptions. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for the 500,000 views on Just Wing It. And thank you for tuning in to see the brand new E-flite Cherokee 1.3m. Again, the next time you see this plane, she'll be up in the air. All right, happy landings everybody. Blue skies. Cheers.